Hey guys, Ryan Fowler here with another episode of Inner Masculine Live. I've been out of the loop for the last couple days. I have been sick, but I'm back in the saddle 80%. It was Montezuma's revenge. That's the downside of Mexico. The street food is like really good and it's cheap, but you got to be kind of careful. Anyways, it's the second time I've had it. I've been here about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And the trick is drink Pepto-Bismol if you're going to eat street food because it actually kills bacteria, but it only works half the time. So this time didn't work for me. Anyways, I'm back in the saddle now. I feel like I'm about 80% back. Hopefully I don't have to leave in the middle of this broadcast, but I think I'll be okay. Anyways, we have a good episode today. It's actually, I'm going to play a couple short clips. And one of the, we're talking about feeling unsafe today. There's a few different aspects of this. Sometimes it's appropriate to feel unsafe if you actually are unsafe. That is your brain working for you, trying to keep you alive, warning you, etc. But what happens when you feel unsafe all the time, even when you're actually not? How do we fix that? We have two short clips. One talks about dealing with unsafe people. Another talks about feeling emotionally unsafe. And this lady is a very big CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy person. And so it's going to be a really good opportunity to compare what I do to what she does, because I don't have to constantly do stuff that she has to do all the time that helps her, not completely, but to a point. We'll show you. I'll comment on it. But first, before we dive in, you can see in the lower left of the screen, innermasculine.com, free ebook. I wrote an ebook. It's a quick read, about an hour. It gives you, it's just dense. It just gives you everything you need to know, no fluff, about how our subconscious mind works and why it keeps you stuck, why it holds you back. So you just got to go there, put in your email. You get the ebook right away. The website's fixed. Everything's up and running. And everyone knows our subconscious mind. Everyone's heard of it. Everyone knows it's super important. It directs, actually 95% of our behavior is directed by our subconscious mind. But so few people know what it actually is, how it actually influences us, what a subconscious program is, how it influences us, where everything started. How can you fix bad subconscious programs if you have them? Because that's what I do. I fix deep down belief systems. Not a medical professional. I'm not healing your manic depression or anything like that, even though mine was cured with this, but I'm not claiming to treat any medical condition. I deal with belief systems. I get you to feel real authentic confidence in who you really are, to accept yourself, believe in your ability and value. When you do that, it fixes, it helps with a ridiculous amount of things. If you actually believe in your ability and value, like deep down, like at your core, you believe that. So that's what we do. And this is kind of, the third episode of a 3-part series where we talk about the 5 traumas. There's only 5 types of subconscious traumas we have. So if you see in the, in the title description, trauma number 5 of 5, this is the last one. To recap, the first 4 are, there's 3 types of toxic shame. I'm not good enough. You feel inadequate or bad or worthless, unworthy in some capacity, falling short. It's different for different people. You can feel bad or evil, or just falling short or not who you should be, etc. I'm not good enough. Number 2, you don't belong or fit in. You feel different from others. You can't connect with others. What you see on the outside of others doesn't match how you feel on the inside. So you say, I'm too different. Or you're an outcast, social anxiety, socially awkward, whatever. In some way, you don't belong and fit in. This is on a spectrum. All 5 of these are on a spectrum. They can be mild, they can be severe, or extreme, or anywhere in between. It depends on the person. They apply differently to different people. But there's only 5 of these types of bad subconscious trauma. That's number 2. Number 3, you can't get what you want. Or maybe you can get it, but you can't keep it. Maybe you're not allowed to get it. Maybe you're incapable of getting it. Maybe you can get it, but then you lose it. Maybe you're not worthy of getting it, don't deserve it. It applies differently to different people. But if you don't believe in your ability to get what you want, guess what? That's a bad subconscious program. It's going to lead to procrastination. Same thing with the other ones. Number two, don't belong or fit in. Fear of rejection will be big. Feeling socially awkward, shy or timid. You can't be authentic. You got to be a fake version, not the real you, because real you isn't accepted. But number one and number three, not good enough, can't get what you want. Fear of failure, procrastination, self-sabotage, all that is going to be there if you have either or both of these. Number four is trapped anger, resentment, bitterness, rage. People walk around with a chip on their shoulder. You see all these cancel culture woke people, super passive aggressive. They have trauma. How they were treated in their childhood led them to just have a chip on their shoulder, or they don't want to face their own shame. And so they're projecting that onto the world around them, saying it's not me, it's everyone else around me. But there's anger and bitterness, resentment, rage involved in that. So these people can be very nasty. Well, they don't have to be very nasty. They can get rid of their trauma. There is a way. And then they're going to be, do you think these people who go around treating others like crap because they're angry and bitter, lashing out at others, blaming innocent people, like these race baiters, they call you racist when you're really not, because they have this anger, resentment, and that, do you think those people are going to have a good life? They're going to have all sorts of interpersonal problems, massive amount of interpersonal problems. I had a guy come to me, and he decided he wanted to keep on his anger, but he described how he would get dates with girls and 90% would flake on him. It's like, well, yeah, you have an angry energy. They probably gave you your number because they were scared of you, and now they won't go out with you because they're scared of you because you're angry. You got an angry energy. So it causes problems. Number 5 today, feeling unsafe. Now, there's a few different aspects of this. You could feel, the real true feeling unsafe is you feel disproportionately unsafe tied to survival. Like I've had people say, and I'd say this particular type of unsafe that I'm about to describe, less people have this than any other trauma, but there's other types of unsafe we're going to talk about too. Feeling physically unsafe is like, I'm out in public, I feel someone's going to attack me. I've had clients say that. I've had them, and I've had this for myself, a sense of dread, everything's going to fall apart. I can't pay my bills. I'll become homeless. I've had this. Scarcity mindset can be tied to feeling unsafe. Man, if I can't pay my bills, I'm screwed. I'm out on the streets. That will affect your survival. If you're homeless, your chance of survival, your life expectancy goes down, right? So you're in a more dangerous environment. You don't have your own home. So some people say anytime I get in a car, I feel I'm going to get in a wreck. Now, again, this is a much smaller percentage of people, but that's a type of feeling unsafe. Now, there are times you should feel unsafe. There's times there are real threats. If you're on a mountain path that's 2 feet wide, it's 1,000-foot drop on your right, you should feel unsafe because that's going to keep you extra careful so you won't misstep and die, or you won't even take that path. You'll take a safer path. But when you're feeling disproportionately unsafe, you feel much more unsafe than you actually are. That is subconscious trauma. That's something that we can go in and we can fix. Now, there's also feeling people are unsafe. I've had this. This second clip we're going to show goes over this. Actually, I'll probably play it first. What do we do to fix this? If you feel people are unsafe, that's going to keep you like isolated, lonely, alone, avoiding people, not letting your guard down, not letting others show others the real authentic you confidently. That's going to cause all sorts of problems. So I guess we'll play that clip first. And then I'm going to talk about the solutions, because I used to have this. I used to feel, because of my upbringing, my mom, narcissistic personality disorder, which means they have a pathological need to control, manipulate, make those closest to them feel absolutely worthless so they'll feel better about themselves, among other things. It's a very pervasive, constant, ongoing, acts of micro-terror, just all the time. Just multiple times a day, every day, throughout my childhood. So as an adult, I felt women were unsafe because as a child, I'm growing up learning about the world. What are men like? What are women like? I don't know. I'm trying to find out as a kid. And the number one woman in my life, my mom, is constantly doing little acts of psychological microterrorism. that can make you feel unsafe. Well, I don't feel women are unsafe now. I feel just fine around them. There's a way to fix that. So we're going, after we watch these clips, we're going to go over that. You don't need to struggle with this stuff the rest of your life. Now, again, if you actually are unsafe, you should feel unsafe. I'm not saying this is always a bad feeling, but if you're feeling it disproportionately or when you really shouldn't, then that can be fixed to a great degree or even completely. So let's play this first clip about unsafe people, and then I'm going to really extrapolate on this and add quite a fair amount, some pretty substantial stuff to this. But it's a good clip. It's a little, I mean, it's a Psych2Go clip, and these, in a way, seem like a little too touchy-feely, but the information is really good. And so, and there's a lot of useful information on this channel, honestly. It's overall, I really like the channel. Okay, so here we go. And I may or may not pause and comment. We'll see. It's not that long of a clip.
Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. With your help,
I will pause and comment. I know I will.
And support, we're able to succeed in our mission to make mental health and psychology more accessible to everyone. So thanks again. Now let's continue. Are you subscribed to Psych2Go? According to statistics, only a small percentage of you who watch our videos are actually subscribed. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, do consider subscribing. This helps YouTube's.
Okay.
Have you ever had a new friend or a close family member you didn't feel safe around? Do they make you feel uneasy?
There's actually a lot to comment in like the first 30 seconds. I remember now.
An unsafe person can turn out to be anyone in your life, and generally, your gut will know about it before maybe even you do.
Okay. What she just said is super, super, super key. I'm going to talk about this later. I'll talk about it a little right now. Our gut is our subconscious telling us something's wrong with this person. And too many of us ignore our guts. Oftentimes, our gut will meet a person and almost immediately know something's off. Why? Well, our subconscious mind, this is neuroscience, it's been measured. Our subconscious mind processes 1,000 times more information per second than our conscious mind. How does it communicate with us? Through instinct, emotion, intuition. Gut feelings or intuition. Now, because it processes so much, when it meets a person, it will notice the dilation in their eyes, heartbeat, body language, breathing patterns, all sorts of stuff our conscious mind does not notice or might minimally notice or not put any importance on. It will take all that information, and if there's something off with this person, the tone of voice, whatever, it takes everything, and if there's something wrong about this person, it'll put all that data together and it will give us a gut feeling. That's one of the chief ways our subconscious communicates with us. So if you get a gut feeling about someone that something's off with this person, pay attention to that gut feeling. 99.9% chance it's right. Because what you want to understand is when you get a gut feeling, your supercomputer is at work. This subconscious mind that processes 1,000 times more than your conscious mind has noticed stuff your conscious mind has not, and is saying warning, warning, warning. So one of the ways to actually keep yourself safe, we'll go into later, is trusting your gut. The more you go into your inner world, clear bad stuff out, put good stuff in with, what I do, inner masculine. By the way, I help women too. Friday show, Teresa won't be on the show tomorrow. Usually Teresa Kuhn is inner feminine. I'm inner masculine. She won't be on the show tomorrow. Just me tomorrow. So trusting your gut, very important. We're going to talk about that later on. There's this is going to be comment heavy in the front because they say a lot of stuff in passing that I really need to comment on.
What exactly is an unsafe person, though? An unsafe person is anyone who makes you feel unsafe, physically or emotionally. They might be verbally or emotionally abusive, or tactful and manipulative.
Okay, tactful and manipulative. So these are people who are really nice, who are really polite, and they can be very charming. but they're just using that. They're really predators. They don't give a crap about you. They're going to use you like a tool or an object to help them achieve their goals, and then they discard you. And I really can't stand these type of people because they're so nice up front and they seem like a really good person, but they're just wolves in sheep's clothing. And it's important to look for these people contradicting themselves, for inconsistencies. Your gut will pick up on this. Look for, okay, they say one thing, but they do another. They act really nice, but then they have you do things that make you feel uncomfortable. Or if you're not feeling good around them, there's a reason for that. Emotion, instinct, intuition, subconscious. You got your supercomputer working for you and giving you feedback that something's off about this person. Pay attention to that. And the issue with a lot of people who, because of internal trauma, they maybe disconnect from their emotions, they shut themselves down emotionally, is that this resource is not available to them, or it's available to them. They're getting gut feelings, they're getting emotions telling them something's off, this person's disrespecting me, whatever. But they're either not feeling it or they don't trust it when they do feel it. I'm telling you to trust it. Now, when we clear out internal subconscious trauma and get good programs in, a byproduct of that process is really getting connected to your core and learning to trust this more. So the number one way to feel safe, I'll tell you right now, we'll go into it later, is to clear internal subconscious trauma and put good beliefs in, because you get more connected to your core and you learn to trust it. And that's what keeps you safe. So these type of manipulative people, I really can't stand them. I had a person in my life that I got rid of them twice, who was exactly like this, and super, super charming, super charming, attractive girl. And I just straight up said she was a disgusting human being. I didn't ever want to see her again, because she actually was, anyways, moving, and she's gone. My friends are good people. My friends don't do any of this crap, or they are gone. They don't deserve to be in your life if they treat you like that. Even if they're nice and charming, polite on the surface, to hell with that. Get rid of them.
A relationship with an unsafe person can feel one-sided, draining, and toxic. Do you think you might have an unsafe person in your life, but want to know for sure? When you're aware of the signs that you're dealing with an unsafe person, this can help you set healthy boundaries in your relationships, and can also help you protect yourself. So, here.
All right, you set healthy boundaries only if you absolutely have to deal with these people. Otherwise, you get rid of them. Get rid of them if you can. I understand sometimes you can't. But if you can't, don't just set boundaries. Get them out of your life if you can. But sometimes you can't. If you can't, you got to set these boundaries and accept these people for who they are, and know that the chance of them changing while you're with them is, while you're dealing with them in the next year or 2 or 5 or 10, a chance of them changing is very, very low. Very low. So don't even think about that. Don't even try and help them fix them. Know what they are, accept them for who they are, get them out of your life if you can. If you can't, then have these boundaries we're talking
about. Here are 5 signs you're dealing with an unsafe person. Number 1, they use dishonesty to their advantage. It's not uncommon for an unsafe person to lie, even over small, insignificant matters. Unsafe people frequently lie without hesitation.
This is where you see contradictions. I had told you earlier, people who contradict themselves, they say one thing, then another. They're two-faced. There's inconsistencies in what they tell you. Listen for this. Hey, by the way, Exhibit A, Andrew Tate, I'm sorry. He says one thing and then says the exact opposite. He does it all the time. For you guys defending Andrew Tate, go to, there's an attorney, CLR Bruce Rivers. That is the name of his channel. Watch the Andrew Tate videos. He will show you all the clips of Andrew Tate. In one clip, Andrew Tate actually talks about beating women. There's another clip, I don't know, it's probably 2 weeks old at this point, where the Romanian court released 88 pages of evidence against him as reasoning for why they're holding him under house arrest. Apparently the trial's this month on the 18th. I'm not sure of that. But there's actually a mountain of evidence against him. There's actually a lot of things Andrew Tate says that directly contradicts himself. So at some point, I got to do it soon if I do. I might do a video saying, hey, here's what a sociopath looks like, because that's exactly what one looks like. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of stuff he says that is really good, that really helps men, but he's just doing it to make money. You look at everything he says, sorry, straight up, that's how it is. CLR, Bruce Rivers, watch the Andrew Tate videos where he shows you clip after clip after clip of Andrew Tate admitting to felonies, saying that, you know, most people are less than worms, talking about, I'm going to smack this bitch, whatever. He's an unsafe person, and he uses dishonesty all the time. So anyways, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I actually have 12 minutes. Then we got to wrap this up, and I still got one other clip. So
they may also make up things about themselves to keep up appearances in front of faults.
They don't own up to their faults. That's huge. Now, people who don't own up to their faults, they tend to criticize others a lot and never accept criticism, or they handle it very poorly. There's some red pill gurus that are guilty of this. Now, I consider myself red pill. The red pill is just the truth. It's just facts. A lot of these guys misinterpret the facts and they write prescriptions that are inaccurate. Some are good for some people, not all, for some. There are some good red pill coaches out there. The red pill is kind of under attack now. Well, some of these guys, it's because some of these red pill coaches actually have done some pretty crappy stuff, and actually, yeah, but there's some that are really good too. So, but if you see someone own up to their faults, and they're constantly, especially if they're constantly criticizing others, that's a key element of narcissism, just so you know.
Being at fault definitely isn't something that's favorable, but it happens to the best of us. It can make you feel embarrassed, ashamed, and uncomfortable. But even so, these feelings shouldn't serve as an excuse.
This is on a spectrum. A lot of people don't want to own up to their shit, but they will. But if they're not owning up to their stuff at all, and they're constantly criticizing others, that is that's no good at all. No good. Stay away from those people. And really, the less they own up to their stuff, the less you want them in their life. You know, no one's perfect. We all get it's defensive at times, but yeah, if it's really they don't own up at all, or it's really hard for them to, it's really, really not a good sign.
They refuse to walk in another person's shoes.
This is lack of empathy, lack of compassion. So look, some of these red pill coaches have no compassion for people who are struggling. I did a show about, you know, two specific red pill guys. I guess you could say they're coaches, or they're giving advice to men. They're helping men. And one guy was overweight, and was my own grain, says, you're a fat piece of shit. He literally called him, they could tell Fresh, even before that, said, I could tell you're really struggling, man. Your head's in the wrong space. You sound defeated. Yeah, this guy was struggling. That's the last thing you want to do, is call him a fat piece of shit. And that's a sign of an unsafe person. You actually want to avoid these type of people. So these are all warning signs. For those, what's interesting is a lot of people who feel unsafe, they will actually still get in relationships with people who traumatize them, which makes them feel even more unsafe. You see people, you know, guys get in relationship with these girls that then walk all over them, manipulate them, abuse them, constant nagging and whatnot. Hey, if a girl like really starts nagging me, I'll probably call her on it once. If she keeps it up, I'm gone. I'm just gone. I would rather lose respect for myself. I would rather lose the girl, than lose respect for myself. Respect for myself above all. When you naturally value yourself, like when we get in your core that you have massive value just for who you are, then you deserve respect. You deserve to go after and get what you want. You deserve to be treated fairly. And if someone doesn't treat you that way, you just naturally get them out of your life. That goes a long way to feeling safe, because then you realize, oh, if someone starts treating me with this improper behavior, if I can't get rid of them, I'll set boundaries to keep myself safe. If I can't get rid of them, I get rid of them, because I don't need other people for validation. You don't need other people for approval. You know you are enough as you are, and darn it, you should be treated with respect. When you get this in your core, all of this is natural. You actually become much safer, and you feel less unsafe because you don't have to deal with these people.
It's very likely for an unsafe person to think only about themselves,
Yeah.
humiliate and shame.
Any of this, they purposefully humiliate. Now, if they do humiliate and shame you, say, hey, man, that was really not cool what you did. And yeah, it was humiliating. I didn't feel good at all. You know, if they apologize, give them another chance, maybe three strikes and you're out. If they don't apologize, get rid of them immediately.
Shame you. There are many ways an unsafe person can humiliate you. They might joke about your insecurities.
You got to listen to how you feel. If they make you feel crappy, then they're humiliating you. And they're going to talk about this video, you know, how a lot of verbal abuse is indirect. Oh, come on. We're just having fun. You know, we're just, you know, stop being such a pussy. We're just, oh, yeah. Will they take that criticism? Will they take that humiliation? Hell no, they won't. Hell no, they won't. The people who do this, if you do it back to them, dude, they lose their crap. I just know how this is. I've dealt with hundreds of people like this. I've had hundreds of clients who dealt with stuff like this. So yeah, you absolutely, oh, hey, you're being a poor sport. Okay, do it to them. See what happens. Watch them be a poor sport. Now you know. So a lot of it's indirect, you know.
And number 5.
This is where you got to listen to your gut. It's where you got to listen to how does it make you feel? And if it does make you feel one way, hey, talk to them in private, see how they respond. If they're totally apologetic and they stop, or maybe you got to remind them once more and then they stop, cool. If they don't, boundaries or get rid of them.
They demand your loyalty. Unsafe people.
Now, this is actually nice guy syndrome where they do covert contracts. I'm going to be nice. Now you owe me something. Well, geez, I didn't even want your gift or I didn't want your niceness. And now I owe you something. That's not cool. So people who think, you know, yeah, loyalty, whatever, you owe them, whatever. Yeah, unsafe. So they're going over the signs here of these unsafe people. I believe that's the last one. And I'm sorry I'm skipping through this, but I have to get my comments in. And, oh, man, I only got about 5 minutes. So probably won't have time for the other one, but let me kind of wrap this up. Because how do you feel safe? How do you feel? And we have some comments to get to that. Mike, welcome to the show. Frame, 100%, man. Frame is front line of defense. 100% frame and boundaries. Boundaries is almost the same as frame. Frame with boundary, frame is like boundaries with leadership. That's what it is. Boundaries is if anyone does anything you don't want that makes you feel bad or that you just straight up don't want, then you tell them no. And you make sure they understand that's not acceptable. And you don't let them do it. And if they insist on doing it, you're out of there. You know, you can stay and fight with them. What good's that going to do? You know, just get out of there. And so if they're like, oh, you know, we're just having fun, be a good sport, you know, they're having a joke at your expense. If you feel like crap, well, guess what? If these people respected you, they wouldn't do that because they wouldn't want you to feel like crap. They're saying our entertainment at your expense is more important than, you know, it's more important for us to have fun than for you to not be humiliated. Yeah, what kind of friend is that? You know, I would tell that guy to F off. I'd be like, F you. You know, or just go right back, you know. And hey, you know, maybe you're in this group dive. Now, here's the thing. There are guys, you know, where we shit on each other, but everyone's having fun and it's cool. And so one thing is if you're the only one being shit on and no one else is, that's different from everyone just poking fun at each other, where everyone's having fun. So again, if you're the only one being humiliated, humiliate the other guy right back and see his response. And if he starts laughing, it's like, all right, cool. We're just having fun. Great. But if it's only you being humiliated, that's the difference. So shaming someone to improve is in the society's benefit. Change or be exiled. Showing compassion to someone to improve is in that person's benefit. Let's help you out. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mike. It's just a joke, bro. Well, yeah, go ahead and, again, shame them right or humiliate them right back and see what happens. One up it. If they give you a little humiliation, give them a huge one and see how they respond. Say, hey, we're just joking. And if they get angry, it's not a joke. They were not joking. So, and anyways, if it doesn't make you feel good, why put up with it? Us guys are in situations where we're giving each other a tough time, but everyone's having fun. If you're not having fun, just get out of there. Who cares? Who cares what these guys think of you? You don't like it, get out of there. Hey, maybe it's not the group for you. Maybe everyone makes fun of each other and they're having fun, but you're not having fun. Okay, get out of there. It's all good. If you're having fun, stay. It's up to you. There's no set rule of what's right or wrong as far as how would I put it? There's no set rule of, this is the acceptable way to humiliate people and this is the unacceptable way. Who decides that? The person who's humiliating you? So your opinion doesn't matter? I mean, it's bullshit. It's just total bullshit. If everyone's having fun, great. If you're not, your preference matters. And if they don't go with your preference, go somewhere else. It's that simple. So here's the thing. I got 1 minute left. Number one, subconscious trauma, when you have it in you, it gets triggered and it feels crappy and our brain wants us to avoid pain. So if you have all these triggers in you, your brain's going to give you constant anxiety trying to get you to avoid being triggered. And you can feel unsafe because of that. Or if you're like, man, everything's going to fall apart. I'm going to lose my job, this, that, and the other. That can be a bad subconscious program too, if it's disproportionate to the actual threat. So number one thing, go in, clear subconscious trauma. It's what I do all day, every day. Watch my testimonials, get massive results all the time, all day, every day. It's not 100% success rate. It's about 95%. All day, every day. You don't have the triggers, nothing to trigger in you because the trauma's gone. You're not going to have anxiety. You're not going to feel unsafe. You realize you can be who you are. You realize feeling safe, unless you actually are in reality unsafe, in which case you should feel unsafe because that's going to help you get out of there. Otherwise, you believe in your ability and value. You listen to your gut, that supercomputer. You establish boundaries, or you get out of there. But if you believe in your power, you realize, you know what? Okay, if I get fired from this job, I'll find another one because I got the power. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to try this other thing until something works out because I got the power. If you're in a position where you're broke, you're going to take a more stable job at first to give you that safety. And then you work up from there. Start a side hustle that you eventually segue over into that makes more money. Great. You can do all of that. When you realize you got more power than you know, when you listen to you establish boundaries, listen to your gut, you believe in your ability and value, you kick anyone out in your life who's not safe, or you establish strong boundaries. If you cannot kick them out, distance them as much as you can. You actually become much safer, and you feel much safer because you're like, I'm powerful enough to handle this. I have tools to handle this. I don't have trauma in me. I'm constantly worried about getting triggered. It's gone. So now when someone humiliates me, I don't feel humiliated because I realize there's no toxic shame in me getting triggered. I realize I'm good enough just as I am. Maybe they are just joking with me, whatever. And if I don't like it, it's not their choice whether I like it or not. It's my choice. So if I don't like it, I'll get rid of them. It's that simple. Now you're safe. You got the power. 95% of the feelings of not being safe. Again, not 100, because sometimes you really are unsafe. If a guy has a knife on you, guess what? You're unsafe. You should feel unsafe. But otherwise, all these situations where, there's an attractive girl, but I feel, I'm anxious about approaching her when in reality, she's not a threat. Well, we can address all of that, get that way down. And then you realize, like I said at the end of every show, once you claim your power, once you realize this, get the trauma out of you, you feel more safe. And you feel more safe because you realize that you have more power than you know.